Yeah. So Michael thinks I'm trapped under a PNP machine and can't reach the button. That could well be the case. It could be. Okay. First, I acknowledge the traditional owners of this land, the Whadjuk Noongar peoples. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and to Aboriginal elders and peoples from other communities who may be taking part in this live stream today. Good morning, everybody. What have we got here? I have just opened the text-to-speech, so hopefully it will be working. It is in the process of catching up with all of the API stuff, and then we'll be ready to go. Where's the chat? Where's the chat? There it is. Michael also asked, dopamine injections today? Hopefully, and maybe some oxytocin, which is the opposite of oxytocin. Where are we? Chat is catching up. Okay, so good morning, Don S, Michael Wise, Amanda. Crispian is here. Crispian and Amanda, unfortunately, are not.
Outside the box said.
Outside the box said. Something. Hang on.
Outside the box said.
Silence. 1 second of silence. Oh, okay. I see what's going on. It was smiley, and that was an interesting test. So the TTS doesn't know how to pronounce a smiley face. So, Imi and Crispian are not making it to the barbecue today, unfortunately, because they had a big day of motorsport yesterday. Well, at least it means that you are not trying to follow the stream while driving from Ballarat, so that's good. Also, good morning to Sharky, Henrik, Imi, I just mentioned Imi anyway, Stephen W, some call it fun, Tabraze is here, welcome Tabraze, Gerald42, Any Mules, David Howes, Rod Whitby, all the way from South Australia, Stephen George, all the way from Melbourne, just down the road. Andrew Brown, Russell Rainey, Keith H. Keith, hopefully I will be seeing you soon in a couple of hours.
Johnny Bergdahl said, slightly smiling face.
Ooh. Aha, okay, so if you want to do a smiley face, you say the words of what the face is meant to be. Johnny Bergdahl, my Swedish friend, Tech Nebulous, David C, Andrew Elwell, Mitchell R is here. Thank you very much for this TTS, Mitchell. This thing is such a cool project. Okay, so today, I was hoping that the last stream with the air quality sensor was going to be the end of that project and I could mark it off, but you know, we got to kind of the end. Oh, speaking of which, I should have Fusion opening while I do this. Fusion had a maintenance period this morning, so hopefully that is over and we can look at it. What do I have? I have a printed case. This is the printed version of the case that we designed on the stream last week. So it is, hang on, I was just looking at the preview window and it looks like my audio is out of sync. Hopefully it's not, and it's just the preview window screwing up. So this is the version of the case that we printed last week. We can check out how that turned out, how many things I managed to screw up, and figure out what the next steps are. I'm going to talk about a couple of software things today, 3 things in particular, but before I get into that, I just want to draw your attention to something and call out a video.
Mitchell R said, just preview.
Just preview. Okay, good. So the audio is in sync. Johnny just came up as a member for 28-month silver supporter. I didn't hear any audio for that. Okay, sorry, I'm just catching up on chat. Mitchell was talking about the text-to-speech. Got massive updates on the framework side coming, which will include an overhaul again of the UI with more stuffs, like a better API than YouTube for chats. Yes. Okay, no audio for those. Way more compact than the air gradient. Okay, So, is my audio level too high? It's jumping into the red on the VU meter. But, okay, I think it's okay. Jordan, good morning. And also, Andrew Gordon is here. Jumped into the chat. So anyway, that's right. What I was saying is, not too high, thanks Jordan. What I was saying is this. So I'm not going to spend much time on this. It's just something that I want to draw your attention to. So I am very aware that I am in that very narrow Venn diagram intersection of straight white male in tech, basically the least marginalized sector of society and the most privileged. And so one thing I can do with that at least is to call out and highlight people who are in situations that are not as easy mode as I am playing life on. And so someone who I've been following for a long time is Fran Blanche, who a long time ago, decades and decades ago, started a business making guitar pedals. I've mentioned Fran on the stream before. So Fran put up this video a little bit ago, 5 days ago, and it is about the some of the recent legislative changes in the US and how they affect, in particular, LGBTQIA+ people. And so I'm going to drop the link to that video in the chat. I've got it. Where's the other? This window. This is the one I want. Stephen W. Yeah, you can't believe that you're just learning that I am a straight white male. So I'm going to leave that in the chat. And you should go and subscribe to... Hang on, am I not? I thought I was. How am I not subscribed? I've been watching Fran's videos for years. Anyway, go and check out the technical content and the awesome guitar pedals. So, where's the button? Here's the button. Okay, now I have got... I am just rearranging some windows here so that I can get the design stuff up. All right, there are 3 software-related things in particular for the air quality sensor that I want to cover today. Sorry, I'm scrolling. Superhouse projects. Got to navigate my way to the air quality sensor in Fusion. Here we go. All right. And also, I have to find my way back to the chat. So here, yeah, here. Okay. And boom. All right. We're kinda on track. Henrik says, anything not straight in here is components on the air sensor, that's it. Air
Only
quality
thing not
sensor.
straight in here are some components on the air sensor, that's it.
No, I think there are many things that are not straight in here. Where are we? I am mentally switching gears. Okay, before I get into the enclosure and hardware for the air quality sensor, just wrapping that little thing up. The 3 things that I want to quickly cover today are a look at Austin's firmware, and I'm not prepared for any of these things. So this is all going to be just you watching me flounder around and try to find stuff. Okay, I did not do the firmware for the air quality sensor. That was done by Austin, and it is very, very cool. It's, yeah, as Peter would say, John's face isn't straight. Yep. Where is Peter? He's not in the chat today. I haven't seen him. Peter, come and join the chat. Missing you today. Michael Michael said, John is getting into the enclosure. Tight fit. Ooh, I could take that as a challenge. I could take that as a challenge. You don't know how flexible I am. Not. As I learn every time I go to...
Amanda Thompson said, so normal stream then.
Yeah, normal stream, that's right. Stuck under the PNP. Maybe Pete is stuck under the PNP. One is Austin's firmware. Two is getting this data into... Hang on, what happened then? I just saw a bunch of... What? There are balloons going up. Hang on, I want to show you something. I'm going to bring this up. Okay, we now have an infinite regression because I've got OBS on screen. Luckily, I am not showing you my Inception. Woo! I'm going to pull it off. There were balloons just running up the screen on the OBS preview window. I don't know what was happening. Like, there was semi-transparent balloons going up the window. It didn't come through on the stream preview, like on the program. It only came through on... Yeah, I'm confused. You saw it too? Some call it fun says. It didn't happen. No. Are you gaslighting me? It did come through on the stream. That's a Mac message thing. But it happened in the... Yeah, okay. I didn't get a message. Yeah. You are... Okay. Half of you are gaslighting me and the other half are just making me confused. So I don't know what's going on. So I'm just going to confuse you a little bit more by doing this. And then... okay, so the third thing. Yeah, I want to get... where are we? I want to get... Sorry, I'm in Discord and I'm trying to get through to the air quality sensor channel. Air quality sensor here. Here we go. So Andrew Elwell is Andrew here in the chat? I don't think I've seen Andrew in the chat today. That would be sad. Oh yes, Andrew is here. Cool. Andrew is in the chat. Yeah, sorry Johnny. I gave you motion sickness. Also, good morning to James Derrick, Jax Tech, Swamp Eyes. Arrived for the stream. So, so Andrew did some stuff for, where are we? World's Air Pollution Real-Time Air Quality Index. If anyone wants it, I am just going to bring this up. Bring this up. Because one of the interesting things... This is for Henrik. Okay, thanks Henrik. Happy balloons, am I right? They are filled with air. Well, if they were filled with air, they would probably sink. But these ones were rising. Therefore, they were filled with something with less density than air. Maybe helium. Or if we're really lucky, maybe with hydrogen. Yeah, that could be exciting. So this is a worldwide map of air quality in different locations. It's a citizen science sort of... What? Crispian just said, Imi had a baked bean incident just now. Clean up on Isle Ballarat. Okay. Mac and OBS plus certain hand gestures trigger certain actions.
Says, on the screen there is no gravity.
Yeah, that's true. Jack Sex said hydrazine, make it even more exciting. Don S, oxyacetylene. Yeah, we could make it a really exciting day. So one of the, I'm always interested in citizen science projects that gather data from multiple sources. And you see this with many things like Open Weather Map, and this is the World Air Quality Index project. There's also a project for tracking thunderstorms. You can build your own lightning detector and then have the lightning reported back to a service that maps the location of lightning around the world so you can track thunderstorms and things. There are many of these sorts of projects, and I just find them really cool, but also interesting.
Check. I have arrived.
DIY is here. Nice. Welcome DIY in the ghetto. Imi said, I had a baked bean incident. Also, my knee hurts. Oh, Imi. Yes, New Zealand is the place. No, Tassie is the place to be. Sorry, who was it that said that? Where? Andrew Gordon said, looks like Tasmania is the place to be/breathe. Yeah, Australia in general is pretty good. Look at all that green. So we've got, look at all this red. Oh. Okay, so the thing, what's down in here? 184 unhealthy at the Institute of Space Science and Technology. There was another one. Hyderabad is just near there, so that's in Pakistan. Yeah, 200 and, where is this? In Delhi. Okay. And in Patna, it's over 200. So one of the things that interests me about these citizen science type projects is, how do you trust the data? I mean, just being really blunt about it. It's the sort of thing where...
Outside the box said, does it detect farts?
I tried to build a fart detector once. I couldn't get it to work properly. This is chasing a squirrel. Okay, I tried to build a fart detecting chair. How long ago was this? This must be 15, 16 years ago. It was back around the days, or maybe even earlier. It was back around the days when I was working on projects for Practical Arduino.
There is one at 472.
Ooh, one at 472. Yeah, we could, let's filter. Can we filter by hazardous? No. Does it have a filter option? I don't know. Anyway, so what I did was I got a VOC sensor, so a volatile, is it a VOC? Which I can't remember. Whatever the sensor was. So the funny thing is, how do you test a fart sensor? Well, you got to fart into it, haven't you? So, Milesite have a bathroom gas detector, says Andrew. Michael says, is there one near Chernobyl? I bet that the air quality near Chernobyl is excellent. I bet that it is, yeah, Jordan says volatile organic compounds, VOC, yeah. Amy says, I live with a gas giant, I think the fart chair would explode. So anyway, I had this funny situation where I was trying to make a fart detecting chair. So putting an Arduino with a VOC sensor.
I live with a gas giant. I think the fart chair would explode.
Yeah. And the idea obviously was to mount the sensor under the seat of the chair, so that if you were sitting in the chair and you farted, then the Arduino would detect it and it could do whatever, play a fart noise or report to some central service. And you can just imagine me trying to test this sensor.
Henry Ostrov said, search in YouTube, I like to make stuff fart detector.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that one too much. But anyway, yeah, you can imagine. And the thing is that I couldn't make it work. For some reason, I could not get it to reliably give an output. So I think it was Emmy was saying there was one. Hang on, 999. What? No, this is. Okay, so this has an AQI value of 2.521460 million.
He made one and it worked.
Oh, you made one and it worked. A sniff detector. Okay. To get some floating balloons up in your FaceTime call, make a peace or victory sign gesture with one hand. I don't even know if that is... Okay. Is Mac going to do this? I don't believe it. I still think that you are trolling me.
And outside the box would be an excellent test pilot.
Emmy, stop throwing Crispian under the bus. Okay. Peace sign. Not that I expect anything to happen. What? It happened. It happened. How? Hang on. I'm going to do that again. Peace sign. And do I get balloons coming up? What the hell is going on? Is this a Mac OS thing where it is detecting the peace sign and adding emoji, like adding things over the top of whatever the camera feed is going to? Because if so, that really sucks. If they turn that on as an unexpected thing, didn't know it was going to happen. And just imagine if you were in a work meeting or something and, you know, stuff starts coming up the screen. So what is it that made it happen before? Was I doing the peace sign? Oh, it's built into Mac. Siri is watching. It's called Reactions. I think you can turn it off. So some call it fun. Yeah, I hope I can turn it off. Reaction. System settings. I'm going to do a quick search for reactions. No results for reactions. Okay. Jordan says, I'm very glad to be running Linux. I hate stuff like that. Yeah, this sort of thing can be fun, but not when it gets turned
Outside
on.
the box said, at Imogen and balloons, when someone is named as such.
Name balloons. You do a love heart with your two hands, says Jack's Tech. Okay, I'm going to try this one. I don't know what reactions there are.
Outside the box said, at Imogen and balloons,
oh, now I got
someone is named as such.
love hearts coming out of it. Boom! Heart explosion. Come on. Come on, Mac OS, do it. It's not doing it now. Come on, Mac OS. No.
What other reactions
Oh yes,
are
there it did.
Outside the
I
box
don't know.
said, at Imogen and balloons, when someone is
Sticker
named
over the
as
camera.
such.
Yeah, but the thing is that this is the camera that it's using. Right now, I am on a Mac Mini, and the camera that it is using is my external Panasonic digital SLR, which is going in through HDMI capture on the ATEM, and then the ATEM is sharing it back to the Mac as a USB source so that OBS can read it. And so it's not the built-in camera. This is coming through my video capture pipeline. Stephen W says 2 thumbs up. I'm kind of afraid to see what happens. Okay, what is going to come out of 2 thumbs up? Will it work better if I subject you all to my face?
YT channel,
Okay.
I like to make stuff made fart detector a year ago.
Okay. Oh, I like to make stuff did one. All right. The green video camera icon in the menu bar. Green video camera icon? I don't have a green video camera icon. Oh, up there. OBS. What is that? Camera, privacy, camera and microphone, screen recording. Okay. I think that is something that I'm going to figure out some other time. I'm not going to worry about it for now. I'm just going to try not to do anything too much on screen. Now, back to here. All right, I'm going to move this to here and move 2 thumbs down, says Henrik. What happens if I do 2 thumbs down? Don't
Henrik
break the
Ostrov
stream.
said, Q do 2 thumbs down.
Alright, I'm going to do 2 thumbs down just to see what happens. This is not the squirrel I was expecting to be chasing today. 2 thumbs down, and nope. Okay, got to go back to subject you to my face thing again. No. Oh, okay, it just did it. Oh, rain! I'm getting rained on. Please do an MCM style chop fingers. A what? MCM style chop fingers. I don't know what that means, Crespian. Alright, so these numbers up here, you can see that on the map it has capped it as that says 182 now. There was one up here before that was like in the millions, and the number had been capped. Like it was reading, oh, Mighty Car Mods. Oh, okay, that's what MCM is. I like the rain too, Henrik. Where is another one that says 999? Don't know, but there was one up here somewhere that said 999. Oh, there we go, here are some. Let's zoom in on these ones. Oh, and then they've disappeared. What happened there? They were there, then they were gone. So is there a glitch in the data from them, and that's why they were reading some crazy high number? So anyway, the point of all of this is, with these sorts of citizen science projects, you're collecting data that is being pushed to the API by all sorts of devices that people have built. It might be semi-official devices, so if we scroll down on this waqi.info project, you can see they have this project, this example of how you can set up an air quality sensor, and they would probably have, excuse my yawning, and now everybody else has to yawn because it's contagious. Okay, we are ranked number 1, Melbourne CBD, updated in 31 minutes. Okay, so it's pulled my location, probably off IP-based geolocation, because I haven't given permission to the browser to know my location. All right, and there's the history of Melbourne. You can see that it's got lots of green. It's got a few bad things.
Let's do the balloon thingy, but with 2 hands.
The balloon thingy, but with 2 hands. Do the balloon thingy, but with 2 hands. Was that okay? Okay, just for you, Henrik. I don't want to keep being distracted by this, but okay, I'm going to do that. Double peace signs. Oh, okay, so you get confetti with double peace signs, and if you do a single peace sign, you get balloons. Right. Okay. So where are we? Double rabbit ears. Yeah. So anybody could be pushing data to this, and how do you trust it? I always find this an interesting issue. When you have some kind of a data aggregation service and you publish an API that allows anyone to push data to it, you are expecting people to do the right thing and hoping that they will do the right thing. But of course the data could be anything, from anything. It could be just a script running on a computer. It doesn't need to be even connected to a sensor. It could be generating random numbers. It could be artificially making an area look good or bad. So if you had a situation, in the case of air quality, if you had a situation where a government body, for example, from certain countries, you can guess what I mean, were wanting to tilt public perception of air quality, what they could do is create a whole lot of sock puppet accounts that just push bogus data across different locations in their area and skew the results of these sorts of citizen science projects. So how do you validate? How do you make sure that yeah, Donna said verified data quality. Andrew says, damn, that's the Tassie tourist industry busted then. Yeah, nobody go to Tasmania. It's terrible. It's like the air quality is so bad. You don't want to be there. It's a disgusting place. Look how bad it is. All this green. All that green. Look at this down here. A value of 0. Is 0 even a value? In Kettering. Where is... I'm just looking for places I know. So there's Hobart. Oh yeah, here we go. If we come down this way, down past Denali, so from Hobart you head east, go through...
Ostrov said, wow, there is even data from Estonia.
From Estonia? I'm sure there is data from... There'd be lots of data from Estonia. Where is it? Yeah, you travel through Richmond, which is a classic little tourist trap place along here. But it does have a pretty bridge. So head along here. Where's Richmond? We'll get there eventually. I think it's up here somewhere. You go through Sorrel, head along here, down through Denali, and Eaglehawk Neck, down here, keep going down here, Port Arthur. Stewart's Bay, there's a very nice place. It's nice down around that area. Very pretty. But no air quality reporting from there. But we've got a 5 over here, reporting from Bream Creek. Crispian says, southwest coast of Tasmania is meant to be the cleanest in the world. Yeah. Oh, Jackstech has an answer on how I can disable that stuff. It's a feature of any FaceTime camera in the Apple ecosystem. You can disable it in iOS in the Control Center Effects Reactions. In macOS, open FaceTime Effects Reactions. Okay, I am going to go into System Setting FaceTime. What's weird about this is that live captions in FaceTime. Where is FaceTime? I don't know. Accessibility, FaceTime, live captions in FaceTime. No, the settings for live captions are not available. Okay, I don't know. I'm not going to spend more time on that. Oh, Henrik says there was only one more called Lasers. TTS is going to catch up in a minute. All right, so we've got...
There was only one more called Lasers, and that's it.
Okay, so we've got 0 in Kettering. We have 0 in Ferntree. Yeah. Ooh, South Hobart. Down Sandy Bay Road. Yep, very nice. Down along there. Ugh. Sorry, I'm I'm chasing a squirrel of just like looking at looking at the map of Tasmania and all of the nice places. So just down this way, if you head down along here, there is a treetop walk in one of the national parks down that way. Yeah, so much nice stuff around there. Henrik says, I'm happy it's kind of clean where I live, exactly called Tartu, otherwise, yeah. Michael said, Tassie is so behind they haven't invented pollution yet. Yep. Yeah. So, I am getting totally distracted here. But anyway, the point of all of this is Andrew wrote a thing. Where is it? So he hasn't, as far as I know, he hasn't actually posted it yet. Andrew, I'm not going to bring this up. I'm not going to bring Discord up on screen, but Andrew did post in the air quality sensor group and said, I've got a small Python script that scrapes weather. I have a WS90 weather station on the shed and PM 2.5 and PM 10 info from Home Assistant and munges it into the correct fields to post it to waqi.info if anyone wants it. I'll need to sanitize any API keys out of it before posting, and some of your sensor names in Home Assistant will likely be different. Yeah, cool. So that is very interesting, Andrew. So if you do feel so inclined to post that, please do. And I am going to pull up, I I'm going to post a URL in the chat, and it is this one. This is for people who might want to jump in and talk more about the air quality sensor project. If you would like to join Discord, please do. There is in the project section, so there are dozens and dozens of different channels in the Superhouse Discord. There is a section for projects, and under that is a channel called Air Quality Sensor, and that's where there's more ongoing discussion of this project. If you want to jump in, and perhaps Andrew will post his code, that will be the place to see it and to discuss it. Yeah. Rod said it's one of the 3 premier world monitoring sites which track rising CO2. Oh, Andrew says, looks like I can't paste URL straight into YouTube chat. Oh, not yet you can't, but now you probably can, because I have given you a quad damage power up, and don't abuse your power. Andrew, you now have the authority. There we go. So Andrew has now just posted WAQI upload.py. Alright, so if you have some kind of an air quality sensor and you want to be able to push to WAQI.info rather, let's have a look. I'm going to do a bit of zoomage on here. Alright, so in the README it says you will need to update WAQI token, etc., etc. for your. So what you need to do is substitute your token in here. This is how you authenticate yourself against the API for the World Air Quality Index service. And looks like a typo here, perhaps. Is there a dropped quotation mark? I think there should be one on the end of this, because, or does Python handle that? I don't know. I don't think it does. I think Python is going to get a little upset. So then you put your Home Assistant token in here, and obviously your Home Assistant URL is going to have to change because that's dependent on your installation. And internal name, so latitude, longitude. Ooh, that might be something that you want to anonymize as well. Sorry, Andrew, I don't. Oh, I've only got one verified email address. Yeah. Okay. It's kind of. I didn't realize it was on screen. It's just run out of cron. The golden gavel is in the mail. I don't know what that means. Gerald42, I don't know what a golden gavel is. As in, I know what a gavel is. I know what gold is. I know you could make a gavel out of gold. I don't know what a golden gavel represents symbolically. Ah, Andrew says I already did anonymize it. Okay, cool. So the latitude and longitude is okay then. So this needs to be added because when you report the air quality data to waqi.info, it needs to know where you are so that it can place that on the map. And so you put your settings in there. Then these are... Oh, excuse me, I'm still spreading contagious yawns. Keith H says anonymized to Bayswater. Could be. Yeah, so these are things in Home Assistant, the entities that you would want to upload. So, all right, so my understanding of the way this works is if you've got an air quality sensor which is reading data from your environment, it then reports that into Home Assistant via whatever mechanism, MQTT or whatever. Crispian. And then Home Assistant...
Outside the box said, yes, caught your yawn.
Good. I threw my yawn all the way to Ballarat. So the... Oh, Stephen says, apparently Andrew lives in Parliament House. Okay, so Andrew anonymized his location by setting the coordinates to Parliament House. So Home Assistant has the data internally. So the entities for the air quality within your house or whatever it is are in Home Assistant, and then you need to get those values out of Home Assistant and push it to waqi.info. And that's what this particular script does. So what you would do is set this script up with the authentication for WAQI. You set it up with your token, so authentication against your Home Assistant installation and your URL, and then you call this from cron. For those of you who haven't come across cron before, it is a mechanism within Unix-like operating systems to execute processes on a schedule. So what you do is just tell cron to run this every 10 minutes or something, and it calls this script, and then you don't have to run it manually. And then the data gets pushed up to WAQI or on whatever rate it is that you want. All right, so maybe what I need to do is start capturing some of this information. I am just AQS Sensor Mini Series. All right, I'm going to start capturing some of this information on the AQS page. Okay, to do that, I am logging into the Superhouse site. Remember me, yes, remember me. And then, two-factor authentication. All right, am I going to get a notification? No, that's right, I'm not on this one. I am going to get... This is out of my Authenticator app. Yeah, riveting. Just as it's going red, did I get that two-factor value in time? Is it going to work? Yes, it worked. All right. I am going to Pages. In fact, I wonder if I can do in situ editing. I think I can. All right. Let's edit some pages. Edit. At some point, the WYSIWYG editor was broken in this. I think it was when, tap to choose a block. All right. What can we do? We can say, we just add a text block, paragraph. The block editor is so weird in this. Additional resources, and then let's add Andrew's script to push AQI data from Home Assistant to, hang on, I'm going to grab that and do it in here. Push Home Assistant to the World Air Quality Index service. What do we do? Can I make it into a list? Make it a list. Well, AI assistant. What's going on there? Why is there an AI assistant in? No, I want to make it a list. Can I not make a list, did I have to add it as a list type, like change its type? Highlight inload. Okay. Well, that's how you do it. All right. I'm going to just make that whole thing a link. Blink, blink. Enter. Okay. And what else? Or one will do it. Okay. Typo fixed in Rev 2 of the gist. Or gist. How do you pronounce that? Because I've always thought of them as gists. When I say it in my head, I say gist. But because it's based on git with a hard g, it probably should be a gist, shouldn't it? Revisions 1. Reload 2. Okay. Yeah. I reckon it should be a gist. A GitHub gist. So I've got to try to train myself to think about it that way. Sounds like joust, says Crispian. Joust, gist. Do you get the gist of it? Yeah, says Rod. Okay. That isn't... I don't know why I thought of it as a soft G, like a J. It makes so much more sense that it's a hard G, so getting the gist. I get the gist of it. What else should we do on here? I don't know. That'll do. That'll do. I'm going to save that while I can, before I forget. Crispian says, oh, it is a soft G. Do you get the gist? Gist. 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 Oh. Yes, you can tell English is my second language. My first language is snoring. Your, says Michael. Oh, English sucks. Now, so anyway, I do not have Home Assistant running here. I actually have Home Assistant set up on a Raspberry Pi, which is, where is it? I think it's in my backpack right now. Crispian says Python is Jono's first language. No. What was my first language? Not counting English. The first thing I ever tried to do programming in, what would it have been? I think it was probably Z80 assembler. Was the first thing I tried coding in. I don't know that I had access to anything much prior to that. Yeah, there was back in those early days, there was definitely some basic. There was Z80 on the Micro B. No, sorry, Rod, I was not rich enough to have a Micro B. No, it was a home built thing, like made on a. I did some wire wrap stuff. Yeah, I did a whole lot of wire wrapping of things and homemade PCBs, and made some Z80 based stuff. And I think that was probably the first time I ever did actual coding. Stephen George said VIC-20 Basic would have been mine. COBOL and Fortran. Yeah, I did a bit of Fortran. I have looked... Let's not get into a who's older competition. Andrew. Andrew is resolving the thing. Okay. Yeah, Squirrel plus plus, Stephen. Here we go. How to pronounce gist. If I was saying, if I wasn't thinking about it and thinking about how it was spelt, and I said I wanted to say to someone, Oh, do you get the gist of it? I would say J with a, I'd say it with a soft G. Let's see what happens.
Chest.
Jest.
Chest.
Jest.
Chest.
It's almost like
Chest.
this one,
Chest.
the British English version almost sounds like it's got a New Zealand accent to me. Like the I sort of slightly leans into becoming an E. Do you get the gist of it?
Chest.
Whereas the British one is, I mean the US English is more of an I.
Chest. Chest.
Gist.
Gist. Gist.
That's an interesting one.
Outside the box said, my uncle and auntie were quarter of the team that invented boot.
Hang on, what? That invented what? What did I miss? That invented boot. My uncle and auntie were a quarter of the team that invented boot. I am confused. Crispian, what does that mean? My uncle and auntie were... Okay. Why is it that we are now so many squirrels deep in this squirrel chasing exercise that we're now talking about the pronunciation of the word gist? Michael Wire said quarter each or quarter total. Yeah, that's right. So were there 8 people on the team or were there 4? Alrighty, so this was a little bit of a detour, but I thought this would be kind of cool because if someone wants to contribute to the WAQI project and push data, then you should be able to do it if you're using a home built. Yeah, Jordan says test fit the AQS. Yes, thank you, Jordan. Getting back on track. If you wanted to push your data, you could do it through Home Assistant. So get your air quality sensor to push the data to Home Assistant, which is useful for your local display, and then you could use this script with some customization. You need to set the entities that you have configured, set your authentication, and use Andrew's script for pushing this up to WAQI. I just remembered something very, very important. I haven't eaten breakfast yet. Keith said, sounds like a goal for you. Superlab AQS posted data. Yeah, actually, I wonder if, let's zoom in. I'm going to, like, my location now is not entirely private. Come on, get back over here. Because, oh, what's that one? Where is that? Box Hill, okay. I was a little bit more cautious about maintaining privacy when, ooh, there's one with a 0 value. It's in Baronia. That is just down the road from here, and it says 0. So my location is just up here somewhere. Where? Yeah, it's on the screen now. I'm not going to say the actual address just to not totally dox myself, but I am in this region between Bayswater and Baronia, like around here. So this is saying the air quality in Baronia right now is 0, which is as good as it can be. Any in Ringwood? Asked Stephen. I didn't see any. Let's just have a look around this area. It is actually kind of surprisingly sparse. There's one up here in Croydon, there's one over here in Moralbark, but the next one across is here in Box Hill, which is not quite as good as you would expect. Being out here at the foothill of, in the foothills of the Dandenongs is where the air would be good. And then once you get in closer to Melbourne, Melbourne CBD, still very good. 18 is an excellent score, but it's not quite as impressively awesome as when we're out here where all the green is. So yeah, I could set one up. Well, I have one right here, but I need to capture data off it. Alright, so the three software things. One was Andrew's script. This one. Second is the firmware. And where am I going to find that? So, air quality sensor Austin, are you here in the chat? Is Austin in the chat? Oh, Tom Lake has come along as well. Welcome, Tom. I don't remember seeing your name in the chat before. I'm just scrolling down through the list of chat members because I want to see... Austin, are you here? Speak up, Austin. I do not see Austin in the chat, which is sadness. Oh. So... Okay, so this is coming back to Crispian's comment about his aunt and uncle being a quarter of the team that invented boot. What do you mean by invented boot? I assume you're not talking about the things you stick on your feet. So, it's talking about the air quality sensor firmware is probably best with Austin. Yeah, Amanda said it would be interesting to see what the air quality is around the factory where you are. That's true. That's true. There are times when there are things happening around here and there are quite strong smells. Usually not chemical smells. And yes, I know chemicals are, everything is a chemical. But it's usually things like you can smell the coffee roaster next door and other things. So it'd be interesting to see if there's a correlation in the readings that come from the sensor with being able to detect those smells myself. xrs.io, is that it? Let's see if I can find anything on here. I'm zoomed in at the moment. GitHub. I am just checking whether the air quality sensor stuff is on here. I suspect that last updated. I think it might be in Austin's own GitHub profile. Henrik says, well, TCS will catch up anyway. Burning rubber. Yeah. Terry said, detect
so
burning
you
rubber.
Hook the sensor up right now. I was away.
I will hook the sensor up. Where is it? Where is the sensor? Oh, it's over there. All right. I'm going to grab a... just knocked down the cables. I'm going to grab a USB cable, plug that into the hub, and plug this into the sensor, because one of the things that we can do is look at... Oh, my chair has started to sink. I need to replace the gas strut in my chair. This chair is now, I don't know, I think about 12, 13 years old. And the gas strut in it has just got to the point where if I've been sitting in it for a while, oh, I just dropped down again. I'm going to sit kind of still and see if you can tell next time I fall. So when I'm sitting in it, after I've been in it for a while, it slowly starts to descend. There it goes. It just dropped me again. Until I raise the chair height again. So there is a leak somewhere in the gas cylinder. Austin, what is Austin's? And going down, I'm doing the walk down the stairs routine. where is Austin's Creations in Austin's Creations? I think here we go. So this is Austin's Creations GitHub, WT32SC01, fan control, sensors button. Let's have a look. Repositories. And September 2024. All right, so what it looks like to me is Austin's firmware is not here in here, or at least he hasn't pushed the most recent one, because he was sending updates to me. So he's been, Paul, hello. So he's been sending me binaries to install, and me, being the trusting person that I am, have been just installing his binaries, which means Austin now has a backdoor into my network. Let's have a look at somewhere. I'm just going to do a quick search. Admin.html. Is that here somewhere? There it is. Admin.html. Did a Google search for it. That's not what I wanted. Okay. Here we go. Projects. OXRS. OXRS. Admin UI. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, so what I am looking for is a way to once again maintain the tradition of doxing myself on a live stream. So the IP is 192.168.1. Yeah, so I have the air quality sensor here running, doing its thing. You can see the screen. If I press the button, it goes into a different mode. It shows me info about it. It's going to be tiny. You're not even going to be able to see that on the stream. But you can see it's reporting 19.7 degrees, 75% humidity? Seriously? In here? That does not sound right. So PM values are all 0. So it is very clean in here right now. And it's not getting any values of CO2 or BVOC. It's just got a... That's interesting. Has the sensor failed somehow? Don't know. But my stomach is still reminding me that I haven't had breakfast this morning. Alright, so the IP is 218. Okay, so if I go to 218, I think it's actually already set up. View system, let's just do that. Loading. Oh, you can't see it. Here we go. So we've got the admin interface now pulled up. We are now connected to the air quality sensor. We can see how much memory it's got free. It's a 4 meg flash chip. We're only using 3% of the file system, 47% of program space, and this is the IP we're connected to. Oh, it's in Wi-Fi mode. No, I don't want to factory reset it. I've contaged myself with yawns. Set up MQTT. Is this going to dox me? No, not really. Okay, it's doxed my username, but not my password. Alright, so I've got my broker is set up, client ID is there, and oh, okay. Crispian
Outside
says
the box said, Mr. Weather says it is 85 humidity here in Ballarat, so 75 is portable there.
Michael says, okay, so now fart. We'll see if the VOC sensor works. Stephen said, if only Austin were here, we could tell him to set up his own web sockets on the AQoS to exfiltrate all of John's data. Yeah. Yes. Austin now has his little Trojan on my network. Alright, so this is probably... oh, and it says it's connected. Alright, so I've obviously set this up in the past. I have configured this previously. So what I'm going to do is capture that client ID, and one thing that would be interesting. Oh, okay, no, someone has mentioned this in the past. That's right. What I'm going to do is mosquito sub no, that's not right. And the host, I'm doing this off screen because, okay? Don't get on my case about it. I know, I keep doxing myself. It's a cell phone. Minus U, the username is exposed there on screen because I doxed myself on that. Put in the password, which hopefully you can't see. Minus T, I want to do that, and then I'm going to grep for that and see if I get any reports. I really should have done that in a different... Yeah, what I need to do is set up a script that does the subscription. Someone suggested this on a previous screen. Sets up the subscription, and then the password is Hunter too. Yeah. Node red. Let's have a look at node red. Sorry, the reason I laughed is I did something stupid on the other screen. So this is my totally messed up, messy Node-RED configuration at the moment. Let's bring it over there, bring this back to the front. And this is the system that is used for controlling devices around the lab. It's what provides the all of the voice control and some of the logic and timing and various other things. So for example, west door open, it turns on the cleanish room, etc. John said, Joe, what is Python certified? Joe, anyway, also welcome to the chat, Joe. I don't think I've seen your name here before either. Joe asked, are there any Ignition fans here? I'm Python certified, and I think an AI relationship with Ignition could make some cool things happen since Ignition can support Jython/Python. I don't know. No idea what those words mean. So, yeah, anyway. You can see the outputs. These are all MQTT publications to different topics to turn things on and off. Things like hot air 1, soldering iron 1, PCB preheater, and then multimeter 2, oscilloscope 2, hot air 2, soldering iron 2, etc. This is all on bench 2. And then bench 3, which is in the cleanish room, fume extractor 2, soldering iron 3. Now, what I can do... I am so hungry. I really want to eat some breakfast. Seriously, I want to go and make myself a bowl of breakfast. Then, where are we? Do we have... Oh, sensors. What's going on with sensors? Zigbee coordinator. Okay, so this is the various sensors that I've got around the place. Like, so I've got a Zigbee to MQTT device, which is collecting data from the different sensors I've got around the place, enviro sensors. So if I turn on that and then we go into debug on current flow, we will probably get updates popping up here at some point, because the sensors around the place, like in the cleanish room and in here and in various other places, all publish to Zigbee, including all of the environmental sensors in my sealed part storage containers. And yeah, I thought I would have seen a message by now, but they do only report very occasionally. Because they are on little coin cell batteries that run for a year or two, they only publish like every 10 minutes or something. Could be a while before we see something.
Superhouse TV.
Cooking segment. Yeah, there's going to be a cooking segment soon because it is barbecue day. No data yet. Alright, now, that wasn't quite what I was wanting. So we've got status screen debugging, touchscreen UT61E. What other things do we have here? Smart. It's a whole lot of disabled streams here. HomeSense, Flow 1, AQS. AQS. Oh, I had totally forgotten that I did this. Here's one I prepared earlier. What a surprise. We have temperature. Where is it? I don't even know where this is going. Where is this being displayed? On the lab group. Half gauge needle. AQS connected. Yeah, see, we're getting data coming in. And we're getting PM1, 2.5 and 10 values, all of 0. We've got temperature of 21.5, humidity 66.2. Oh, we do have values on CO2e and BVOC, so volatile organic compounds. IAQ accuracy, 3. All right. Now, where is this going? I seriously don't know. That means it is probably turning up. I'm going to open this on my phone just first to see if it is appearing in here. Cleanish room, bench 2. No, it's not. Where is that going? Is there a different tab? Cleaner room temperature, lab humidity. What is it? Reporting as. Sorry, I'm 1880. I'm going to go to a different tab here. Which one do I have? UI. Oh, this is in the old dashboard. All right. This is UI there. Okay, so this is the way I can control stuff around here. Like if I hit this one, for example, you'll see the lights will go off. Boop, 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 and now I'm sitting in the dark. And if it took a while because it has to cascade through, like it has to work its way through a whole lot of things. This switch controls many different lights. I'll turn it back on so I'm not sitting in the dark anymore. And then if we go to the home page, we can see data coming from sensors. So clean room temperature, humidity, pressure, and that scale is a bit screwed up. That's weird. Lab temperature and humidity and pressure, and then we've got just values there. But this is coming off the original Dashboard 1 plugin, I think. What is this one? This one, I think, is it's a gauge node. What is it from? What's it from? Is it so lab dashboard page 1? Okay, here we go. So if we go to port 1880 dashboard page 1, now we might get somewhere. Here we go. Oh, yeah, that's right. We messed around with this on a previous stream. See, my brain is broken. And not always in a good way. There is only so much you can do. Yes, we often fail by trying to do too much. Yes. You would have broken more. Yeah. Yes. I was just reading chat for a moment. So this is the data coming from the air quality sensor, I believe. Printer 1, that is a sensor up behind me there, just in there. right there. That little white thing just there, that is an air quality, no, it's not an air quality sensor, it's an environmental sensor. And that is, the battery in that's flat, so it's reporting nothing. Clean room, we can see it is at 51.71% humidity. Humidity was 55, it fell. You can see that it went up during the night, and there is a dehumidifier running in there. The tank in the dehumidifier got full, and I emptied it this morning and restarted it. And you can see that in the last hour or so, the humidity has dropped in the clean room from 55 to 51%. So the dehumidifier seems to be doing its thing. It's pulled a few percent off the humidity in there. Yeah, gauge 22.7, 59. What we don't have reported in here anywhere is air quality. Is the air quality numbers. So are we getting, yeah, we're getting all 0 values on air quality. What would be interesting is to do some soldering and see if those numbers go up. I'm going to see what happens. All right, I'm going to, I shall name she who shall not be named. So, oh, actually, what I can do it. I can do it this way without UI. Here we go. Where are we? Bench 1, I'm going to turn on soldering iron. Cool. So my soldering iron just turned on. Then we are going to come back to here. I'm going to clear everything and we'll see what Michael says, solder or fart. Yeah, I can't really fart on demand. Okay, so we're currently showing values of 0 for all of the PMs, which is particulate matter. And what I'll do now is come scrolling over here, move the AQS box out of the way. Oh, and this is the enclosure for it. I'm not going to unplug that yet. Let's move this. Don't know whether you can see on screen, but it's got 0 on all of the PM values there. Now, where's some solder? I'll got some unleaded solder here. And I'm going to, how am I going to do this? What I want to do is make the sensor ingest the solder pretty much as directly as possible. Alright, soldering iron is heating up. And make some smoke. Make some smoke. Oh, look at that, the numbers jumped up and it went red really quickly. So the yeah, PM 1.0 is up in the high 200s, PM 2.5 is over 1,000. Oh, and now it's dropping back down again. That response is very, very quick. You can see the border went red as well. Humidity went to 80. That's interesting. The humidity value went way up and now it's back to like reading zeros because the smoke is all dispersed. Just clean the soldering iron tip. Let's do that again. Bit of smoking. And it's gone red. Values have gone way up. Yeah, well, at least it proves it's working. We hit 4,000 on the PM values there. Coolio. All right. Now yeah, I think that covers that basically covers the 3. Oh, that's warm. I assume it's from the little motor or whatever it is that's spinning inside the air quality sensor. Okay, so time to unplug this and have a look at how this enclosure turned out. So this is the printed version of the enclosure. David asked, is humidity somehow also temperature compensated? And Crispian said yes. Yeah, that's right. So Oh, and Jack Sek said the acid in the flux probably trips the humidity sensor. Yeah, interesting. Light a match. I don't think I have a match here anywhere. Donna said there's a little guy in there spinning a wet bulb. Paul Schultz said oxygen plus hydrocarbon equals CO2 plus water. Yep. My high school chemistry is far enough in my past that I do not really remember very much from it, because I don't have a regular day-to-day use for it. All right, so this is the enclosure, and I hit print on this after the stream last week. It's got the apertures in the bottom, and what I did was remove the switch. So this is the mode button on the air quality sensor, and by design it was on this side of the PCB. I removed it and cleaned up the footprint and put the switch back in on this side of the PCB. The thing is that it still works perfectly because it's a single pole, single throw switch. All it's doing is switching to ground. You can put it in on the other side of the PCB and it works perfectly well. There's no problem with the footprint. It's symmetrical. So that was a win. And then the problem is the version of the switch that I have here has a fairly long stalk on it. So I grabbed my little trusty razor saw and I cut off part of the stalk for that switch to make it shorter, because this is the problem. I posted photos of this on Discord, so some of you will have already seen it. This fits in beautifully if you slide it straight in until it gets to the switch. So sliding it into the enclosure goes in beautifully, everything aligns, but the switch sticking out means it can't get to this hole. Now, the one possible way to solve that is to insert this at an angle so that the switch stalk goes through the hole. So put it in like that, get the stalk through the hole, and then pop the bottom in. However, because of the angle and triangles and high school geometry, blah, 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 it means this side of the triangle is shorter than this side of the triangle. So the adjacent is longer than the hypotenuse, etc. So the thing doesn't fit, you can't clip it in there. I could make the whole enclosure higher, which would give room for that to go in. There are a few things that can be done. There was a suggestion on the stream last week of making the bottom open and have some ridges coming along the inside so that this the PCB slides in through the bottom of the enclosure. That is an option. Paul just said, I got it under the switch hole, David. Have you tried using a hammer? David's suggestion. Paul said, push the switch. Yes, okay, so that's what I was...
Johnny Bergdahl said, use a sledgehammer.
Yep, so that's what I was getting to. Now, the switch has a very small deployment. It is small, but noticeable. You can probably just barely see it on screen there. It only moves maybe a millimeter when I click it in. So my plan was, and this is why I cut the stalk off with the razor saw, I wanted to make it so that the plan was that when it's pushed in, it will just clear and this will be able to go into the case. And I didn't actually get to the point of clicking it in. So at the moment, if you're looking down at it straight on, the stalk is just catching on the body of the case, and maybe by a combination of clipping it in, I'm going to try it now, like pushing the button in, bending the case out. I hope, ooh, this is actually really tight. I hope that I'm going to be able to get it in. And if I do get it in, maybe I can't get it out again. You can probably just see that the case is bending. Hang on, why won't that go in? There's something else obstructing it. Or is it just that it's tight on that side? Ah, I see. What's happening is that because the case is being bent up here, it's pulling this side in, which is stopping it from clear. Clearing, okay. I think I can do it. Just with a bit of jiggering, I should be able to get that side to clear. Yes, it's cleared. And then push this in, push, push, and it works. Look at that. Very nice. So we've got the holes aligning on the bottom, the apertures. So we've got the aperture for the environmental sensor, the BME 680. We've got the apertures for the inlet.
Said what?
What? What? Pete! Pete! Pete is here! Haha! Nice! Hello, Pete. So, yeah, that works. I think I need to make a couple of slight adjustments to this design. So, the button is actually working. That, I think, is an acceptable solution. Getting this back out again could be quite a problem, but yeah, I might have to push on the screen, which would not be ideal. So I'd have to bend this up, push on the screen, and try to pop the button in underneath the edge of the enclosure. But it's pressable. You can hear it clicking. And the position of the hole seems pretty much perfect. So I got that one spot on. The reset button, the button itself is slightly further away from the PCB than my measurements allowed for. If you look straight down the top, you'll see on this front edge a little bit of silver. That is because that's the body of the button. The button is slightly further back. It does mostly overlap, and if I grab a spare drill bit that I happen to have right here, I can press the reset button through that hole. But I'm kind of inclined to replace this button with one that just comes out straight. At the moment it's a right angle button so that the stalk goes up and then it's pressed through the enclosure using a pin or something, or a pen, more likely. But yeah, I think that would probably be better off being a regular tact switch facing this way up towards the camera, away from the PCB, and have a hole in the back, or even just have a longer stalk on it so that it comes up through the back of the enclosure, and that way you don't have this hole visible on the top. Oh, Amanda said power it up in the case to check the screen hole alignment. Yes, good idea. Let's plug it in, see if it works. And here we go. It's okay. The alignment is okay. The screen itself is actually slightly twisted, but I think that's not the problem of the case, that's the problem of the screen and how I had it attached. It looks to me like the enclosure, no, I think it is pretty good. Just looking at the green border around that, it looks like it is pretty well aligned with the hole. So I think that's fine. Some Call It Fun said, can reset button simply be moved to the bottom and accessible via air holes? Yes, I could possibly just put it down here and have a hole under there for it. That's true. But I think a simpler solution is to do it on the, just to switch it to the back and have it go out. I haven't actually printed the back cover for this yet. It barely needs one. It actually looks kind of cool with the PCB exposed on the back, but enclosing it does make it more of a finished product. So this could sit on a shelf, like in your lounge room or kitchen or somewhere, and display air quality. It'd be interesting to have this in a kitchen while cooking, because cooking can generate lots of, well, not just gases, but also when you're, say you're cooking something on a stove, it can generate particulate matter, and that could be picked up by this. Oh, I just got values of 3, 5, and 5 on the particulate matter sensor. Wonder why. From moving stuff around? Making dustiness? I don't know. Terry said, definitely this would be great in a dental laboratory. Jackstack said, place it above the barbecue. Yes. Paul said, press the button. Okay, so I press the button and it's going into, yeah, it just goes into the info screen where it shows the firmware version. Version is debug Wi-Fi. It's got the MAC address, IP, etc. and the MQTT ID. So, but yes, that is a great idea.
Pete said, hey folks, please don't forget to go watch, like, and subscribe to Frank Blanche's channel.
Yes. Pete, you may not have seen it, but I did mention that at the start of the stream. So, yeah, I don't think you were here at the time. I was calling for you and you weren't there. Russell said, I still think I'd make the bottom part off the back so it could slide in. All right, so what Russell is talking about there is instead of the back being just a flat plate that screws on here, it should be like an L shape. So it'll be the back plate and then come down and include this part of the bottom so that it fits over it, and that would make it easier to get the PCB in. Yes. Okay. I need to print the back panel. I also need to print the... I did actually update the enclosure slightly because, I don't know whether you can see it, but looking... I'll use a silver thing so that you can see.
Pete said,
that
your face is a plate.
Thanks, Pete. I always get the best compliments from Pete. My face is a plate. So the body of the switch here is quite close, and the back panel is about, I made it 1.2 millimeters thick, and this is closer than 1.2 millimeters to this. So this body would actually strike the inside, and it would prevent the cover from fitting down into here. So what I've done in Fusion is I made this whole enclosure 1 millimeter deeper. Why am I measuring with a drill bit? That makes no sense. So it is currently, this one is 25 millimeters deep, and I think I made it 26 millimeters deep. What I should do is in Fusion check whether I really did that. Paul said, would the button also be better if it poked out the back? It doesn't need to be pressed during regular operation. Yes, exactly. So that is why I think this should be changed to vertical. Oh, hang on. Would the button... I see what Paul is saying. Would the button... No, not just the reset button, but the actual mode button. I think you're right. I think you're right, Paul. It would just make a whole lot of problems go away. The question... you know, this is that classic thing of they were so busy trying to see if they could that they didn't stop to wonder whether they should. So I've been on this mission to have this button on the top of the enclosure and make it easily accessible, and it doesn't necessarily even need to be there, because the mode button is really only used for doing things like going to the info screen for checking configuration. It's not actually even used in normal operation. So maybe switching both of these buttons to vertical type so they come straight out, it would solve that fit problem. There'd be no problem at all just dropping it in. It would solve the depth problem. Yeah, let's do it. What's the time? What's the time? Someone tell me. 11:35. I am very tempted to make that modification to the PCB right now. And it would mean that this would not have any visible buttons on the top of it. It would be a much cleaner looking design. Oh, here we go.
It said, but you can never have too many buttons.
But you can never have too many buttons. Yeah. But, yeah. You trying to press my buttons, Pete? So the
Outside the box said, do it.
do it. Yeah, I think I will. Now, thing is, today I really cannot run over. In fact, I had been thinking that I wanted to run a short stream today because of the barbecue. So if I do this, I'm going to have to do this. Whoop, what am I running into? Into the box. I'm going to have to do this quickly. I missed the case install. Wagon loads, welcome wagon loads. So, oh, just looking at the chat. So, Pete, I've said hello to. David, hello. Wagon loads, hello. All right. Let's go to here, AQS 4.0. Let's make a slight let's do a 4.1 version. And yes, I know for people who use proper revision control, I'm going to move my chair up. Oh, that's better. Now I don't feel like I'm sitting on the floor. I'm going to make a version 4.1 of this by cloning the schematic and the PCB out of the 4.0 project. And
Amanda Thompson said, having the USB and buttons on the back may impact the wall mount case design.
Yes, that's true. But I'm kinda, yeah, the problem with power anyway, that is a very good point, Amanda. What I could do is I could have footprints for multiple things on here. Hang on, why did I call that 4.0? What have I done? What have I done? I should have renamed, let's rename that. Let's make that 4.1. And rename this one 4.1. And rename this one 4.1 because I've already got a 4.0. Okay, better. Improved. So what I can do is, do I have any other sheets? No, it's just a single sheet design. It's a very simple one.
Outside the box said, remote switch.
Yeah, remote switch. So what I could do is on the PCB have multiple footprints for switches and then just populate whatever is required. But a wall mount version of this, the big problem is how do you get power to it? And I have a particular hate for attaching things to a wall and then having visible power cables going to it. If something is attached to the wall, it needs to be powered invisibly. Otherwise it just pisses me off. So
Pete said, just moved to version 7.2 already to skip all the other revisions and adjustments.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Pete. Change pins to, I don't need to do that. That's already done, so I can get rid of that note. Now, where? Add quick connector? Yeah, that's a to make Austin happy thing. So, mode button. What do I want to use? I can't do a part swap because this is a 4-pin button with mechanical mounts and the gates won't match. So let's go for, will I go for, oh, Gavin asked steak. No, no, thank you, Gavin. I really appreciate that you bring me steak, but I feel bad that you bring me steak. So, what am I doing? Adding a part. Where are we? Superhouse switches. What I'm going to need to do is add this switch and then get its geometry in the correct place. Tack switch, just a regular tack switch. What, a 4.5 through hole should do it. I could use a 6mm through hole. No, I'm going to go for 4.5 through hole so that it is rigid. And I'm going to stick this here.
Outside the box said, lol, this project was about to finish. Now we're reinventing its wheels.
Yeah, we are reinventing its wheels a little. So I want to put this in the location where the mode switch goes, and I want to stick it on the back side of the PCB. So I'm going to mirror it just to make the the model work properly. All right, get rid of this violators restriction so that I can just stick this where I want it. I'm going to put it right. Is that the right place? Where do I want it? I think it can go down fractionally. I think it should go right about there. Okay, now what I can do is come back into here. I can nuke this switch mode. I'll give this one a value and I'll just say mode, and we no longer need that, that, and that. We're going to stick that up there, and I will link that into that net.
Outside the box said, hold my beer.
Hold your beer. At least it'd be safe giving it to me because I don't like beer. All right, I'm going to spin this 180 degrees just to make the routing nice. Get rid of that trace, route. Oh, yeah, okay. No, I want to delete that bit of track and that bit of track. Then I'll take these and I'm going to spin them, stick it about there. That'll do. In fact, what I could do is take that and that. No, I want to route, not net. And then I'm going to take that and hurl it at that. Hurl it into the sun. Hurl that one there, hurl that one there. And now we have a mode button that is directly on the back. So, mode and reset. What do I want to do for reset? Maybe what I'll do is put on the same sort of style of button, like a 4.5mm button. Hang on. Why am I putting that on the other side? That should not be mirrored. I just realized this switch, we are looking at the back. So I'm going to undo that mirror, which is going to screw up my tracks. Oh, and it's thrown some vias in. Get rid of those. Get rid of those tracks on the bottom. And let's route that again. Stick that one there. Route that one to there. Okay, now we're done again. That's better. Yeah, we're looking at the back of the enclosure. So putting the switch on the other side of the PCB was the wrong thing to do. Okay, mode button. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use that same switch footprint and move it down here. In fact, I can get rid of this one now because I don't care about retaining the symmetry, retaining the geometry. Because I can, yes, I want to add, do you want to add part to ground? Yes, I do. Because what I can do is make it symmetrical off the other side. So the geometry doesn't matter. All right, that is not mode anymore. It is now reset. And we can set this one, 11:44. Time is getting away. Where'd that switch go? All right, this switch here. But what I can do is
Some call it fun said, how much room for mode switch on front or side?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I could, but putting it on the back, as was pointed out, sorry, I can't remember who pointed it out, might have been Paul. The mode switch is not something that you even use in normal operation. So why do we have it in a visible place? It's really only used when you're doing setup.
Outside the box said, how much does that switch elevate from the board? What about the rear plate spacing? Don't forget to make a new hole for it and remove the old hole.
Yes, that is good points. Good points. All right, so what I can do is I can use 4.5mm tact switches in both these locations, but I'll have one with a longer stalk than the other. In fact, what I would do for the reset one is give it I think it's 0.6mm is the shortest stalk you can get, which means that the top of the button is almost flush with the body of the switch. and then you would need a pen or something to push into the hole to get to that one. So the geometry, how far are we in? We're 10 millimeters inset from the edges of the board, and this one is 39, they're both 39 millimeters up from the bottom of the PCB. So I can add those holes into the enclosure. I am not going to do that today because I do really need to do stuff. Just looking at, if I spin it that way, I'm looking at how this is most nicely positioned. Maybe there. That gets it away from that connector. Yeah, that'll do. So trace there, trace there, trace there. Hang on. No, I've got to, that trace does not exist. That, I need to extend that trace. So we'll route off there onto there. And, oh, in fact, better still, because this is now, the angle has changed, I no longer need that. So I am just going to route off there and do that. Much nicer. Much nicer. And show and rat's nest, we've got nothing to do. All signals are routed. That's it. We're done. We have now changed it. So let's push that to the 3D model. And we should see the 4.5 millimeter tact switches on the front of the PCB, which is towards the back of the device. Is my Space Mouse working today? Kinda, half working. Alright, so we've got the 4.5 mil tact switches. Yeah, I think this is better. I prefer having the buttons on the back because you really don't ever use them. In normal operation, it sits on the shelf, you look at the screen, and that's it. And more importantly, it actually pushes the data to MQTT so that you can log it, do whatever you need to do. I probably need to update the silk screen with the pinouts on it. But I'm going to wrap up this live stream because I need to go and do setup stuff and start getting stuff ready for the barbecue. So that I'm not still sitting here talking when people start arriving and I don't have anything ready. Talking about not being ready. This morning, not long before the live stream, I was cleaning up, trying to get things organized, and a sudden thought popped into my head, and it was one word, and that word was bread. I actually had not bought bread for the barbecue, and that's because yesterday when I was at the shops buying all the other stuff, I thought I'll get it Sunday morning so that it's fresh, and then I totally forgot. So I then had to make another quick trip to the supermarket to get bread and rolls to make burgers and things. All right, AQS. Yeah, I know we could have the buttons on the back, on the sides. There are all sorts of things we could do. And yes, this potentially...
Dislike and unsubscribe from John's channel. For the stats.
For the stats. Oh, I just thought of something. Emmy, you were, was it Emmy or Amanda? I think it might have been Amanda, was pointing out that the problem is the buttons on the wall mount version. But I was just thinking you could put the buttons on either side of the PCB. So you could put them on the front with long stalks so you could press the mode button from the front. But yeah, I don't know. The wall mount version is beyond me right now. That is not something that I am trying to solve at the moment just because. Okay. I think I'm going to call this wrapped. Look when this version was from. Oh, actually, that's not that long ago. It's not like it's 2022 or something. 02, what's the date today? 9th. Okay. Whoop. Need some separation in that date. Oh, let's make this 2025. Yeah. Okay. Well, folks, I am going to go. It's been
Outside
a blast.
The box said, Uru.
Yeah, magnetic reed switches, said Wagon Loads. Michael said infrared remote control, but no buttons at all. Oh, it was Amanda, yep. And, switch pins interfere with the PMS, asked Stephen. I don't think so. But that is a very good, come on, Space Mouse, stop being annoying. Ooh, close. Yeah, I think I need to move them up 1 millimeter. Let's do that. Jitterbug. Do the jitterbug. Why did that come into my head? I don't know. That makes that. Why did that route break? And that's become very ugly. Yeah, anyway, that is now ugly. That is vaguely acceptable. All right, that'll, I believe that will fix the problem. They're now up near the top edge of the thingamajigamy, but they will definitely no longer interfere with the particulate matter sensor. Thank you very much for pointing that one out. Yes. Stephen, thank you for doing that. Make the SP fetch mode from MySQL data. Wagon Loads, yes, well, not from MySQL, I do it from MQTT. So what you could do, all of this can be configured via MQTT and stuff anyway. So, yes, the mode is just so that when you power it up, and you, for example, don't know what its MQTT topic is, you can press the button and get all the info about how it's currently configured so that you can then set it up appropriately in the rest of your home automation system. All right, I think I'm going to send that PCB off for fabrication and put the air quality sensor project aside for a while. Maybe what we can do is talk about the firmware at some point in the future when Austin is around. And even better, get Austin on the stream as a co-presenter, and we can go through how he did all of the stuff in that firmware, including how to drive the LCD, which is quite a tricky sort of thing. Put Steve on the PCB, says Michael. Yes, I should do that. But you still here? Pete, I'm leaving. I promise. I'm going to quit out of Fusion to take away the temptation to do more stuff. I am going to...
Pete said, you still here?
Not for long. I am going to... what am I going to do? I think that's it. I think I just have to say goodbye. Is that it? I probably should learn how to end a stream. It seems that that is something that I am very, very bad at doing. So, thank you very much for coming along today and listening to me blather on. I hesitate to call it done. I am leaving the AQS on my project completion spreadsheet list, but I'm going to move on to other things for future streams, for the next stream at least. We'll return to this as like just a final, this is the thing, and when I have the new boards fabricated and have it available in the online store. So I'll give you an update then. In the meantime, thanks for coming and have an awesome week. I'll see you next week. Go and build something awesome.